Hey guys, this is Naren Zaid with the Hammer Bros, and I wanted to bring you a different perspective on the channel. This is our Hammer Bro. This is Hivemind. Hivemind, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, Dave. Go by Hivemind online. I'm a reformed 40K player. Don't hold it against me.
Yeah, do you want to give us like just a quick background on like your gaming history that kind of led you to fantasy?
Long ago, 1996, 97, I played a lot of 40K when I was stationed out in California in the Marine Corps. Uh, Played quite a bit. Lots of Tyranids, lots of Ultramarines. I don't know, played 5 or 6 years of 40K. Went through a bunch of different armies, deep into it. Never played a game of fantasy. It just looked kind of dumb. You had to pay too many guys. They all move in a block. Seemed stupid. Uh, Kind of got disgusted with the 40K scene. It just, too many codexes too fast. Whatever was the newest thing was the, third edition you had to have more minis, and then fourth edition you have to have more minis. I mean, I started playing like Rogue Trader second edition 40K back then, and it got too much to keep up with, and I didn't really like the people who played it, so I kind of fell out of the scene. Recently, last summer, started up a little Mordheim League at my house. I got a Tuesday night gaming group. We decided to play some Mordheim, and that kind of pushed me into fantasy. You kind of dragged me along with you. I met the rest of the Hammer Bros out in Syracuse. They're good guys. Spent about 3 or 4 hours there one afternoon when you guys had a mega battle, and 4 hours with a bunch of geeks, and didn't want to choke anyone. So I figured I could hang out with you guys, and so yeah, like December, I decided I was going to play some fantasy with you. I guess the other part of this is that I'm a big time competitive Magic the Gathering player, and this year, all the Grand Prix and Star City events that I wanted to attend, I couldn't make any of them. I have conflicts on every weekend for a big Magic tournament I wanted to play in. You started talking about GTs, and we looked at some dates, and all those dates were free. And so that was about December. I decided I was going to jump down this rabbit hole, and got a real good deal trading some Mordheim minis for a bunch of ogre stuff, and got a bunch of ogres. January, I hadn't yet played a game. I didn't have anything painted, and last weekend I played at Crossroads. So there it is.
Yeah. So how did your games go? What did I mean? Like, run me through game one. So you sit down at the table. What's your first
Yeah.
experience?
So I sit down. Guy starts getting out Dark Elves. This sucks. I haven't played any games against elves at all. Nobody in Syracuse in the local club has any elves that they've been playing. I haven't played any dark elves. I haven't played any high elves. I haven't played any wood elves. He starts setting up elves. Okay, well, it looks like a bunch of little weedy units. So I'm not really scared of any of this. I'm ogres. Uh, so then we proceed to go to turn one. He says, "Oh, I have Vanguard moves." I go, "Oh shit, what are Vanguard moves?" So he takes his Vanguard moves. Things are going downhill already. It's around this point that I find out about fast cavalry. Another thing I have not seen at all. Fast cavalry basically is hovercrafts. They move where they want. They go wherever they want. They face however they want. They're hovercrafts. It's great. To top it all off, this guy's kind of a douche. He figures out right away that I'm new because I tell him, and proceeds to like play at turbo speed and not really explain anything. And he's one of these guys who, as soon as I question something or catch him doing something shady, I'm like, "Hey man, I don't think that's right. Are you sure that that's?" And his response is immediately, "Whoa, dude, calm down." Like I'm blowing my top, and it was just like setting me up for bad sportsmanship. It was a miserable experience. I lost the game like 15-5, and it was pretty miserable. But whatever. First game,
I
bounce
feel
back.
like I feel like I left you horribly unprepared without vanguards and fast cap. I feel like that's my fault, but I don't have access to any of those armies. I should
Didn't
have
come up, man.
I should have grabbed a dark elf codex and showed you because I'm like you should hide in the corner, but like you never saw it, so
Yeah, it
it's
didn't.
my
It
fault.
didn't really register that. Not only did I have to like kind of turtle up, I had to leave them no space to get behind me or on my flanks. I cannot leave him space to fit 5 cavalry, or he's gonna fit him in there and take pot shots at me with those stupid freaking crossbows. So
Yeah.
he ended up cleaning up all of my smaller units. He killed off my man-eaters. He killed off my little unit of 4 iron guts. He killed off my Mornfangs. He killed off my saber tusks. He killed off my iron blaster. I was left with just my gut star, and he wouldn't touch it. He danced around it for 3 turns, would not engage it, would not touch it. And that's why he only won like 14-6 or 15-5 or something, because that's way over 1,000 points in my army. So
So you think your opponent said you have to get dinged on sports? Did you get dinged on sports?
somebody dinged me on sports. I only got a 48 for sports. Somebody dinged me on sports, and if I had to guess, it'd have been him, because everybody else I had a great game with, had a great time. My only consolation here is that this guy that I played in round 1 didn't just get dinged by me on sports. He got dinged by a couple other people too. He had the lowest sportsmanship at the tournament. So.
Oh, see, so all right, so you start your first GT experience playing an army you never play against. You get fast played a little, and you possibly get dinged on sports. So, so we can only go up from here. So how about game 2?
Game 2, I got crushed. I played Paul Gates, great guy, great player, playing Vampire Counts with Manfred, and he either he tabled me or I had like a couple guys left, but it was a 20-0. It was real close to a tabling. He just outmaneuvered me. He had Fellbats that really redirected all of my possible charges. He had big things with halberds from the end time stuff, like 3 of them. What are they?
Morghasts?
Yeah, it might have been them. I don't know. They were these hovering things. They like don't fly, but they hover. Yeah, I don't know. He got those right up into my grill, and then redirected everything with his bats. Real good player, strong player, well-deserved 20-0. Absolutely crushed me. And Manfred got off a Purple Sun that killed like 7 Iron Guts, and yeah, it was just nothing went my way. And he was a great player, so I got crushed 20-0.
Yeah, that's why we comp death, I guess.
Actually, I take it back. I got crushed 23. I think I got extra bonus points out of that scenario.
Yeah, because you can't.
Because my gut star was sitting in the middle of the table, and I had a dude left or something. I don't know, but I got a couple points, but he got 20.
All right. So you get 20. All right. So your first 2 games, you're down. But now, I mean, where do you go from here? All right. So we go to game 3. What happens? What's your mindset anyway?
Time to make it go. Because if I'm going to salvage anything here, it's got to go now. So game 3, I play another Dark Elf guy. This guy, in contrast, is a real good guy. Let me find his name on the sheet here. This was Anthony Bonavia playing Dark Elves. And I explained to him in the beginning that I'm new, and he explains to me in the beginning that he's a painter, not really like a hardcore player guy. And it's too bad he was playing Dark Elves because they looked great, but there's only so much you can do with black, gray, and purple. His stuff looked great, but he didn't have quite as optimized a list as my round 1 tryhard guy. And we had a pretty good game, but in the end, he made a mistake and forgot that I had a Hellheart. And oh no, I'm lying. That was a different game. Sorry, that was game 4. This game, no, I played better. I turtled up in the middle, made him dance around me with his warlocks and the horses there, and just basically used my Heaven's Slaughtermaster to keep taking guys out. Concentrated on finishing off units, and at the end, this was a good game, and I ended up winning. He got very few points off me. I think I won this. This was 13-7, but then I got the 3 bonus points too, so it was like a 16-7 for me.
Okay, I was gonna say when I came over, I saw you on like turn 6. Like, all right, I'm gonna 2 dice this magic missile, 2 dice this magic missile, 2 dice this magic missile.
The end of it was because he wouldn't engage me correctly. He wouldn't engage me. But I shot the crap out of him, and this game. Yeah, this game I ended up getting the Man-Eaters. That's right. This is the game where he left me a space in his corner to get Man-Eaters on the board. And I have a unit of 5 poison scouting Man-Eaters, and they turn 1 they opened up into a unit of something and just rampaged across his backfield. That's right. Killed off all his bolt throwers. It was a bad scene for him. Oh, he was the guy who brought a Hydra too. He had a beautiful Hydra. and I felt really bad blowing it away with a cannon on turn 1.
Yeah, they used to be much better, and yeah, that's interesting. All
But so
right,
yeah, I played this guy, and I understood better about how fast cavalry was going to move, used my stuff a little more effectively, and pulled out, like I said, like a 16-7 or something on him.
all right, so you get your first win.
Yep, get my first win, and then we go get Mexican food, which destroys your intestines, and we go to bed. We go down. What we drank a few beers and stuff, but then we called it a night because we had a big day tomorrow. Because you were 60-0 at that point.
Yeah, I was a solid 60-0. And then I woke up at 4.
Yeah.
And I couldn't fall back asleep because all I could think about was the matchup I had, and I'm like, I'm playing ogres with 2 warp lightning cannons and a doom wheel. If I blow this, there's no excuse.
Yeah, you've done nothing but, I mean, you've played this matchup a half a dozen times against me in the last 2 months at least, so you know what's going on.
And I just couldn't go back to sleep. I just kept laying there, and oh man, it was awful. So I wake up and have to play Conroy. But where were you? What were you playing? Was it another? Did you have the luxury of playing Skaven since there were 9 of them?
No. So we crafted my list thinking that Skaven was going to be a bad matchup, and that I would just have to accept it because you can't be good against everything because you're not high elves with the banner of the World Dragon. So I've got to accept Skaven as a bad matchup, and then we get there and we see there's 9 Skaven player, over 10% of the field, and I was just like, because I don't have any lead belchers and I just can't beat Skaven. I can't beat your list of Skaven, I know. I mean, if they bring a bunch of Storm Fiends or something, that's different. I feel differently. But a list like yours, I can't really beat with my list. Just can't do it. You're the paper to my rock.
Mm-hmm.
But magically, I dodge Skaven all day. But the consolation prize is that I end up playing 2 Dark Elves, 2 High Elves, and a Vampire Counts. So round 4 ends up being the first of my 2 High Elf games. And this guy has... this is the guy with 2 Frost Phoenixes and a couple of Giant Eagles and a big mounted bus and a couple of units of archers or something. And this game is a real competitive game. This one's real close. He doesn't want to engage my bus, but he gets Phoenixes in my backfield. The Phoenixes kill my cannon, and bunch of shit goes wrong. I have my man-eaters this game shoot at Giant Eagles and Frost Phoenixes multiple times and never kill anything. Can't kill a Giant Eagle with 5 rapid-firing poison man-eaters. They're shooting in the dirt in the air. Everything kind of goes poorly for me in this matchup. Until the last turn, I've still got my entire Gutstar, and I'm in the middle of the table, and he still doesn't want to engage me. He's running away with his Phoenixes because they have wounds on them. He's running away with his Giant Eagles because they have each a wound left. He's backing everybody up, but he's got his mounted bus, which has charged my Mournfangs, finished him off, regrouped and turned around, and he inexplicably moves that bus forward on my Gutstar, not engaging him, but moves him up within like 12 inches. Not even in my front arc, but they're close, and I've got a Hellheart.
Mm-hmm.
So bottom of the 6th, he's way ahead on points, but I've still got this Hellheart, and I'm going to hit him on a. I've got to roll a 2. You know,
the ones you don't see coming always hurt the most, man.
Yeah, don't roll a 1, and I've got him. All he had to do was not move his bus forward. I think he was moving it forward to block me from charging a Phoenix or something, but let the Phoenix go, bro, because Hellheart went off, and his wizard's head exploded and got sucked in the warp and brought the whole bus with him except for, like, his lord. Like, all the rank and file guys gone with the wizard. And it was like 750 points that I got from him in the bottom of the 6th. And it ended up being another big win for me because of that. It was like a 15-5 or a 16-4, so 15-5 I think it was. he got not a lot from me because my whole bus was still there, and lost all his dudes on the bottom of the 6th.
Well, hey man, those 2 count points. That's why it costs 2 count points, because it may
That's
not
exactly
always
it.
do it, but when it does, it's sweet.
Yeah, it did nothing my first 3 games. So I did nothing. And it's a tricky thing to use because like against Paul Gates playing his vampire counts with Manfred, do I? He's never going to give me better than a 4+ on the range to catch Manfred. In fact, I don't think he ever gave me better than a 5+. But at one point, he rolled a big magic phase with Manfred. I mean, he rolled like an 11 or something on the dice. What am I going to do? I'm sunk if I don't do something. So I got to try to pop the Hellheart. So I try it. I need a 5 or a 6. Of course, I don't get it. The problem with using it is that now that I've used it, he's free to come right in with Manfred and the rest of that bus. So it's kind of a damned if I do, damned if I don't situation. If I don't use it, he stays away, but he keeps getting these huge magic phrases with Manfred. If I do use it, maybe I catch him, but if I don't catch him, now he knows it's shot, and he's free to come on in. So, anyway, in this instance, yeah, it was a big deal. Bottom of the 6th, shot off the Hellheart, sucked his whole bus into the warp. So
that's cool, though. So you pull off this clutch win at the end, and now you're sitting 2-2.
Sitting 2-2.
Now it has to get serious, because now you're like, this is the whole rest of the tournament doesn't matter. It comes down to this game, whether or not you leave with a winning record or a losing record.
Yeah, this is the bragging rights, because you projected I was going to go 2-2-1, so I got to go 3-2.
I was feeling good about it too. Once this happened, I'm like, dude, I'm right there.
My goal was to have a winning record my first GT, so I go into the 5th round, and I'm playing a guy, another high elf player. But this is all immediately. This is a weird. This is nothing like the last high elf list. This guy's got the full bolt of bolt throwers. He's got 4 bolt throwers, no eagles, no phoenixes, no nothing. He's got a couple blocks of archers and a couple 5 blocks of fast cavalry guys. He's got a unit of some kind of chicks with great weapons or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a big block in the middle of white lions, like a big block with a bunch of characters mashed into it. I don't know about white lions, so I've never seen them before. So I went, whatever, they're elf infantry. These guys are going to taste great. So we start off, and he takes his vanguard moves. This guy also lets me scout my man-eaters way over and on one corner. I have my Mournfangs over in the right flank. The man-eaters are way over in the far left corner. Everybody else is jammed up in the middle. He uses his 2 vanguard moves to move both his fast cavalry units right in front of my man-eaters and my Mournfangs.
Right. What do you think?
I don't know what he's thinking. In fact, the guy at the table next to us who was playing High Elves leaned over and looked at him. He's like, Teclis disapproves of you wasting fine elvish cavalry in this manner. Sure enough, he got charged, and they got utterly annihilated. Both those units of cavalry. I pushed the rest of my stuff up the middle, shot my cannon, killed a bolt thrower, started moving my saber tusks across the board to try to get some other bolt throwers. But got myself marched my bus right up in the middle of the board, and my turn 1 magic phase, I roll big numbers, and I've got enough dice that I think I can try a chain lightning right now. So I bait him because he's got everything in a row in his deployment zone still. He hasn't moved any of his troops. So I bait him with a comet. I throw like a 3 dice comet, and it goes off. And I've got it like right in the middle of all his infantry, and he dispel scrolls it.
Okay.
That's what I said. Okay.
Yeah, I mean...
5 dice chain lightning. And chain lightning went off, and it killed a bolt thrower, and it jumped to a unit of archers and killed about 5 or 6 archers, and then it jumped to another bolt thrower and killed that bolt thrower, and it jumped to the white lions, and it killed 2 or 3 of them, and then it jumped to another unit of archers and killed 4 or 5 of them. Just Nikola Tesla would have been proud. All the electricity, just really murdered 2 or 3 of his bolt throwers and killed about over a dozen elves, and that kind of set the tone for the rest of the game. Nothing really went this guy's way. He even got a charge off on me with his white lions, and got a charge right into my Gutstar, like boom, let's do it. And they're a little scary.
Yes,
And
they are.
I ended up we thought that I had lost combat, and I'm not stubborn. I've got a standard discipline, but I don't have a chronic command because I brought a Hellheart. And we thought I'd lost combat, and I'd actually thrown the dice and like failed. And I'm like, no, wait a minute. There's no way I lost this combat. You're elves. And we like ran it back and did the math again and did it all. And we're like, oh, wait a minute. I didn't stomp. And I rolled 3 stomps, and I killed 3 elves, and then I won combat. He was stubborn, so he just stood there. But yeah, the Gutstar and the unit of White Lions from like turn 2 on fought until the end of the game. And while those blocks were fighting, my Man-Eaters and my Mournfangs were pinching around the back of them. I got a
Well, this is also
I got a Saber Tusk back there, and yeah, just cleaned up everything in his backfield. My cannon was doing work; it was firing every turn, and yeah, just the Gutstar kept his White Lions locked in there. It got so bad that like on turn 4 or turn 5, he ended up moving. He had a level 2 sorceress sitting in a unit in back, in one of the archer units. He ended up moving her 10 inches out of the unit, and then using a spell that like lets him move another unit to move that sorceress in front of one of my other units to block them from flank charging his White Lions. That's how desperate it was for him. But she died, and they got flank charged anyway. And I mean, by the end of it, all my Iron Guts were dead. My Firebelly was dead. I had a Slaughtermaster and with like 4 wounds on him, and a Bruiser BSB with like 3 wounds on him, and a Butcher with like 2 or 3 wounds on him, and that was all that was left of my Gutstar was those 3 dudes standing in the middle of the table. But all he had left was like 1 dude. This was another game where he got a big magic phase, and I ended up getting off Hellheart while we were like locked in combat. Got off Hellheart, and it killed a bunch of White Lions because his dude exploded. The dude didn't get sucked in the warp, but it was still killed 3 or 4 White Lions, and yeah, I ended up mopping him up, and last turn he had like a dude left, and it broke, and I ran it down, and he got tabled. So that was game 5. I tabled another high elf guy, and ended up 3-2 for the day. Got I don't know what I get out of this, 55 battle points out of the day. So
tabling high elves is hard, man.
It wasn't an optimal. It was less than. It was wasn't how I'd run them, I guess. But they were tough, man. Those White Lions were hard as nails. The problem was that the rest of his army wasn't. Still trying to wrap my head around him throwing away his cavalry like that, but he did it. So the impact hits were huge in this match. Every time I'd charge him, he'd lose 3, 4, 5, 6 guys. So
yeah,
just
even strength
before combat even starts, and then I stomp him at the end too. It was brutal.
Yeah, strength 5 impact hits for Man-Eaters.
Yeah,
Strength
that's why
4
he needed to hold on to his cavalry more because they don't get stomped or take impact hits. Or they take impact. They don't get stomped at the end. So
yeah.
It's a big deal. He should have held on to them, but he didn't do it. So 3-2.
Cool. Well, it's fantastic. I mean, 3-2. It's hard to win one game of Warhammer, let alone 3, especially when it's your first GT.
Slow rolling loser bracket,
Hey man, wins is wins.
Yep.
So, what did you think of the scenarios? I know that this was your first GT, but these were some very basic scenarios. Did you like, for your first GT, did you like the basic scenarios, or would you have rather played some of the stuff that you're going to see? Like, I don't know if you looked at the Unplugged stuff, but see the stuff like that.
These were real basic. I mean, there's a lot to be said for, I'm an ogre player, so there's a lot to be said for something like King of the Hill where I can just plant my Gutstar in the middle of the table and get three extra points. Can't really complain about that. But yeah, I don't know. As a new guy, I guess I was okay with the real simple scenarios. That said, I wouldn't want to play these all the time.
Fair. So your overall experience, your first time at a GT, you're on your drive home. Better than a Magic event, the same as a Magic event, but different. What's going through your head?
Oh, I was stoked, man. I was amped up. It was a good time. Um, I will say it's harder to like. The big difference for me is that it's like harder to get in the money. I mean, I wouldn't have been in the money at a Magic event dropping my first 2 rounds, so it didn't matter. But I mean, with 75 or 80 guys, top eight's going to get paid. But I guess top eight got paid. I mean, they paid, what they paid, overall 1, 2, 3, and best general 1, 2, 3, and player's choice and best painted, and there's a
Yeah.
bunch of categories. So I guess it works out the same. It was different. Certainly, I had a lot more fun at one of these. Magic tournaments are a grind. You don't get much time between rounds. There's no break for lunch or anything. If your rounds go to time, you're it's just a lot more pressure. It felt like this was a lot less pressure. This wasn't less competitive, but it felt a lot more casual. It was just chill
Yeah.
compared to a Magic tournament where
So were you,
everybody's trying to be a try-hard rules lawyer on you.
so were you surprised at that though, especially with a game as like intricate and with as much stuff that's subjective as Warhammer? Were you
That's
surprised that there were so many people that were just so whatever?
I feel like it has to be that way because the rules are so ambiguous and contradictory at times. I feel like it has to be that way because otherwise, I mean, there's no arbiter of what's what way and what's not another. I mean, we didn't know there was a rata for Rune Maw. We did. They were
Yeah.
playing Rune Maw a lot differently than we thought they were gonna.
Yeah.
I dropped Rune Maw from my list a long time ago because I didn't think it was going to be very effective against things like Cracked Skull.
Yeah.
Turns out it is.
Yeah.
Um,
The ETC comp changes things a little bit.
yeah, there's. I also didn't know that there's GW errata for Comet right on the GW site. Comet, when it goes off, not when you cast it, but when it goes off, the Comet gets the Lore of the Heavens attribute where it does extra damage to flying things. Any flying units hit by the Comet when it goes off take that extra D6 strength 4 hits or strength 6 hits, whichever it is. So yeah, didn't know. Somebody pointed that out to me conveniently in my game against the guy with the 2 Phoenixes and the 2 Giant Eagles. But yeah, I'm like taking out my pen and scribbling on my Magic card, because the card specifically says does not get this, and I'm like, well, that's good enough for me. It was printed by GW,
Yeah.
So you run into a lot of stuff like that in this game, and it is what it is. So you can't really be that much of a rules lawyer. I mean, some things just work the way they work, like movement. There's not a lot of ambiguity with movement, So, and things like templates help with that a lot, front art
Yeah.
templates and stuff. But with other things,
Yeah. So what do you plan on going this year? You plan on going again? Where are we going to see Hivemind?
Yeah, man. Well, you and I are already registered for Unplugged next month.
Yeah.
We're gonna hit that, and we're gonna hit Keystone, right?
Yep, we're signed up for Keystone.
Yep,
Well,
signed up
I
for
am.
Keystone. That's
I don't know if you
June.
signed
That
up
is. When is that one? June,
July.
July, and we're gonna hit that Capital City Bloodbath thing up in Ottawa,
Yep, August.
August, and that's what we got down so far. I mean, if there's a Fall Crossroads, we'll hit that too.
Yeah, I'll probably hit up Fall Crossroads, Sylvania in November, and then Du Bois in October, and that's pretty much the end of the season.
Yeah, probably hit all those. Like I said, I can't make any Magic stuff this year, so the only thing we're going to make is GP Pittsburgh. That's in November, so I got nothing until then.
Well,
So
after that, I hope you have a spot safe for Masters.
I'm not making Masters. You're making Masters. You're
I
going to
don't
make
know.
Masters. I'm going as your team manager.
That would be fantastic. There's a lot
I'm
of
the guy who's going to feed you sandwiches and Cokes while you're playing.
Oh man, I hope I make it this year. Anthony looked at me and before the tournament even starts, he goes, "If you win this one, man," he's like, "They need to make some errata where you just have to make it because last year you did as well as you did and didn't make it in."
It was your own fault.
Yeah, no, it's totally my fault, and I have no ill will towards what happened. Like I said, I knew what I was getting into, so.
My goals are to keep my record at 3-2 or better. No backsliding there, and I've got to get my painting done. I think I pulled a fast one here at Crossroads. I had on Monday, before the GT started, I had 13 guys still unpainted. None of my man-eaters were painted, and I had 5 Iron Guts to paint, and I had all 3 of my characters. My Firebelly was painted, but my Slaughtermaster and my Bruiser and my Butcher, none of those were painted. And I spent the week frantically doing, like, I never prime anything black because I don't like it, but I primed these guys black to, like, cheat, so I could do the weapons and the armor fast. And I did their pants, I base coated their pants, and I base coated the flesh and washed it, and dry brushed all the metal parts, and based them. And that was the extent of what I got done on those last 13 guys. And somehow I managed to hide them within the block's troops, or just, I don't know what happened, but they gave me a 35 in painting. So
well, they probably looked at your cannon, and they were satisfied.
Yeah, I mean, if they just looked at, like, you know, if they picked up a couple of the painted Iron Guts, the ones that were actually done, and, like, you know, looked at my Morn Fangs and looked at my cannon and saw the hand painted banners and all that stuff, okay. But I mean, I had a third of my army that was not up to snuff, so
well, you know,
I got to get them up to snuff.
The hand painted banners go a long way. I mean, I'm sure they saw that some of the stuff wasn't as well painted, and they took that into consideration, because if that stuff was painted, you probably would have rocked like a mid-40 score with the freehand work. So
I got to get that stuff done for Unplugged. That's my goal right now, is to get that stuff done for Unplugged, and to make sure that I don't slip off of my my 3-2 baseline now. Once Unplugged is done, though, we got to play Swedish.
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
We're gonna play Swedish.
That's what we'll do. So casual Nerdhammer guys, what you have to do is you have to make it ETC. Whatever you do, no more Swedish, just ETC.
Don't listen to him. Play ETC. Play Swedish. I've got a plan.
It will be, if no matter what happens, you should just bring that list either way, because I want to see it.
I guess I'll spill it. It's not all that funny. So my plan for Swedish is 4 mammoths. That's it. I'm bringing a Gutstar with a Great Maw Slaughtermaster and a Bruiser and yeah, that's it. And like 14 Iron Guts, and then the rest of the army is 1 Saber Tusk, 2 Hunters on Stonehorns, and 2 Thunder Tusks. It comps at like 18 Swedish, so that's where we're at.
Pretty legendary, though.
If it works, we'll see. It could be stupid, but I figure all the things, like, you know, a lot of everybody's cannons and stuff are pretty heavily comped in Swedish, so maybe it'll be good.
Yeah, man. I think it'll be good, though. You know, I think we'll definitely rock that out this year, and I'm looking forward to seeing your mammoth list. Do you have any closing comments?
I got to paint 4 mammoths. That's a closing comment.
That's
I'm happy to notice that my round 1 opponent, who I did not enjoy playing against, finished about 15 points lower than me in the final standings. Take some vicarious pleasure in that.
Yeah.
And
that's fair.
Back to the painting grindstone to get ready for Unplugged.
It's always the worst, man, the painting.
Nah, painting's fun.
It's fun now that I finally know I can do it, and that I've started to, you know, see results. I'm telling you what, painting those guys before was not worth it, but now, yeah, now it is.
Getting your paint score up into the 30s so you can get an overall was totally worth it.
Totally, 100%. I'd do it again. 10 out of 10 would do it again.
Yes.
So, thank you guys for sticking with us. Hopefully, Hy will be joining panelies a little bit more, and hopefully we'll do he'll start doing battle reports too. I know that was his intent, but you know, at his first GT, he didn't want to distract himself and detract from his record.
I had a little much on my mind this time, but next time I will take some photos and do some diagrams and show everybody my ineptness in the movement phase.
Very cool, man. Well, thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. See you.